Hey, yo, peace and love to all the eyes and to all the ears that are watching and that are listening to this platform, that are listening to this video, that are in tune to this channel. Yo, I'm back again with another video. I got another message, so check it. I want to show you what's been going on that you might not even know. I want to show you what is going to eventually take place. Things are going to be different. Things are going to change, and we're going to see a new way of technology, a new way of living. And this video is very, very, very detailed with information. So I want to show you this. So I seen this video, right? And I'm going to share it with you. Let me change my screen. And I'm going to show you this off my laptop. Alright, so bear with me. I want to make sure the volume is up so you can hear, which it is. Check this out, though. You already see the title. Watch this video. It's only like 3 minutes, so just watch this video real quick with me.
Using public transport?
Let me turn this volume up. The volume is too low. Yep. Alright.
Getting access to buildings and paying for coffee is now as simple as a touch of your hand. A microchip implanted beneath the skin gives people the same capabilities as dozens of cards and devices, and it's not as painful as you might think.
What was once confined to science fiction movies
This may be a little uncomfortable. Just implanted a radium diode. They're the access codes to your job spot.
is now reality for some.
I can pay, open doors, and have my business card in there as well.
These Aussies say they're being microchipped to simplify their lives.
Which will connect to my work pass, which will allow me access to my office, to use the printer, to use the scanner.
We won't need any ID cards, we won't need any PIN codes, access cards or anything, so we can live a much sort of freer life.
The microchip is the size of a grain of rice, and the procedure takes just 15 minutes. First, the area is sterilised, then the location marked. The chip is then placed inside a hollow needle and inserted underneath the skin. Data from your bank card, payment method, building swipe, LinkedIn profile or medical history is cloned onto the chip, which is implanted in the hand. Using the same technology as tap and pay cards, the chip can then be used to open security doors, pay for a coffee, use public transport and access information you've programmed onto the chip. This Perth body modification artists already embrace the trend.
I have a business card on one I have just for funny images to load up on people's phones randomly, and one of them I use for being able to operate and open a door lock. Turn off the immobilizer.
32-year-old Joeltron has even built a motorbike which can be immobilised just by the touch of his hand.
Easy as that.
The microchip also has the potential to save lives. Personal medical data can be loaded onto the device like blood type and allergies and accessed in emergencies. For those concerned about privacy, the user can control what data is made available. Visa says it's possible for any device to become enabled for payments, but the chip would need to meet Visa's security standards and be issued by a bank. But our laws haven't kept up with the new technology. A man in Sydney recently copped a fine after implanting his transport chip in his hand. While microchipping may be a step too far for some big businesses are already trialling wearable payment technology. Bankwest among those putting the information in wristbands, watches and key rings, with 400 volunteers testing the gadgets right now.
So it has a chip in it, just like your bank card does, and you can go to a merchant terminal, buy your coffee, buy your drink, and swipe the device.
Microchipping costs around $300. Rebecca Johns, 9 News.
I want to show you this other video about what I was telling you about. Just look at this video.
Alright, get everything opened up here, and then we'll start the procedure.
And for the record, in terms of a pain scale, if you can compare it to something.
Probably more like a bee sting.
More like a bee sting.
The latest office innovation is a microchip implanted in the skin.
This is the first American company to ever try this.
So what are they tracking, and would you say yes if your boss asked you to do the same?
So if my employer wanted to microchip me as if I was their puppy, I would have a huge problem with it, and I would probably quit.
You could argue that the government is tracking you everywhere you go, but they are already with your phones.
Yeah, it just seems a bit permanent. If you already have an Apple Watch you're wearing around, at least you can take that off at some point. Not something I would do.
I think it's a great idea, and I think it would make it all a lot easier. I just think that you have to back it up with maybe some doctors saying it's good for your health, and then I think I would do it.
3 Square Market is a company working on one of the biotech advances at the forefront, implantable RFID or radio frequency ID microchips. The tech has been around for decades, used to track pets, packages, and livestock, but now the Wisconsin-based company is trying to make the implants mainstream. Even with all the risks and unknowns associated with this technology, I was really curious what it'd be like to have an implant. So I traveled to Wisconsin to get chipped, thinking, what's the worst that could happen? The chip is coming out at the end of the day. And the RFID chip is...
Hey, I just want to let you know that what you see is what's been going on already. And it's going to continue to go on. And it's going to be to the point where you're going to have to be able to make a decision on what would you do. What would you do?
It's already inside there.
Yes.
And it's a little bit larger than a grain of rice.
Correct.
Jasmine rice, I think.
Basmati.
That's Indy Whitehead, better known as Gonzo.
Not jasmine rice, but basmati rice. That's how small that chip is.
A local body piercer with 17 years of experience who was brought in to implant the microchips. I was slightly nervous about having the microchip inserted inside my body, given the size of the needle, and also nervous about what it could potentially mean for me, but here we go.
I'll just take a nice big deep breath in, and exhale, release. There we go.
It's in there.
It's in there. Pretty quick and easy.
I feel like a cyborg.
Here you go, you're a proud member now.
Yeah, you get a t-shirt.
Just like that, I was part of a small group of people on Earth pushing the boundaries of what it means to be human. And within minutes, I was meeting with their tech team to get my chip programmed. I guess what you're saying, to sort of put it in layman's terms, if I wouldn't need to take this out until we live in that futuristic world where everything's wireless, cash is gone, autonomous vehicles take us everywhere, and I'm just beeping my way.
Eventually, it's going to be a cashless society. Everything is going to be through technology. You heard him, right?
Through my day.
Really, probably you'd never have to take it out, and this is what we think is going to propel us into that next stage in life, the cashless society like they're doing overseas already. This would facilitate that because you wouldn't need to carry any cards or cash. Everything would literally be stored on the chip.
There is no GPS tracker in the chip, which was really good to know. And the applications for it were actually pretty sweet. I could now open doors, fire off texts, forget all of my passwords, and even make credit card payments. I started to wonder, is it worth getting this thing removed?
And what I'll do is I'll set yours up so that I can make a phone call off of it right now.
Success. Stuck in this internal debate about whether to keep the chip,
Crazy.
I thought I'd talk to some employees to get their take.
This is
One
crazy.
who has the chip and another who opted out.
You know, I wasn't opposed to it, but
They had so many people that wanted the chip that I felt I would just wait for a few months and see how everybody reacted to it, if anybody got sick from it, anybody got infections, any of that stuff. And it's everybody that has gotten one has been just doing just fine on it.
You got chipped on your very first day. I guess the number one question I have is why? Like, why did you feel you had to do it besides seeing everyone else?
So I found out through social media that the company that I was moving from Colorado to come to Wisconsin to work was optionally microchipping their employees. It sounds really futuristic and bizarre. And at first I wasn't going to do it.
And how much information did you have? Did you know that you could open doors? Sure, but how much information do you have about the chip in general?
All of the questions that the news were asking, all the questions the employees were asking, all the right questions, the nitty-gritty questions were there. So I knew what it was made of, I knew what it could do, what it could do in the future. I was well educated before getting a microchip in my hand.
They offered to take it out at the end of the day, and I was like, absolutely don't want this thing in my body longer than it needs to be. And I'm kind of having...
And I'm gonna tell you one thing: the reason why people decided and are going to decide to do this experiment is because it's all because of conveniency. The microwave success of things, the instant gratification. So people will decide to do this because of instant gratification, because it's convenient, like I said. But to those who are in the name of the Most High, you're not going to be baffled by this. You're not going to be bamboozled, I should say, by this, because you know what the truth is. And to people who decide to get this rice inside of their body, in their forehead or in their wrists, are going to be under severe penalty and judgment.
I think it might be fun to play around with it some more. I don't know, I'm having some...
It might be fun to play around with it some more. You heard him?
About whether to keep it in or take it out. Upon application, there's a risk of infection, but beyond that, are there any downsides to having an RFID chip implanted anywhere in your body?
This is an approved device. There's been nothing that has come out since 2004 that has done anything to change the FDA's stance on it.
Well, for one thing, I'm not sure it's been conclusive whether or not these are safe for the human body. I know the FDA approved them years and years ago, but I think long term is sort of when we find these things out.
That's Michelle Demoy. She researches how new technology could impact personal privacy. Along with health complications, I was also concerned about the security of the chip itself. Just how safe was my personal information on the chip? And was it safer there in my hand than in my wallet or phone?
What ends up happening in a lot of situations with technology, and you can even point to any of the major tech companies that you interact with on a daily basis, they start off wanting data for one reason and end up using it for many other reasons. And so that switch,
you heard that?
What your expectations are, is a little different when you are using a device or service where you ostensibly have an ability to walk away from it. And when you have something implanted in your body, of course, that removes that ability.
34 billion avenues exist for your information to travel down every single day. Everything you do, whether you're checking Facebook, checking out at the supermarket, driving your car, anything, your information's everywhere.
Say I was sitting at a booth at a diner, because it doesn't have to be a line of sight read. It could go through a Band-Aid and potentially through a box or something thicker. Say someone was hoping to steal someone's identity, they're just scanning randomly in a restaurant. Could they pick up my information?
Is anything unhackable? That's a stupid word. There's a reason why it's not in the dictionary. If you take the RFID chip that's now on every credit and debit card in this country and in the world, you have more problems with that, because the reality is this, the thing that's in your hand has a 256-bit encrypted password to get into it. It's significantly harder to try to take anything off of this than that card that's sitting in your wallet right now.
Well, I think one thing that people forget is as technology gets more and more sophisticated and evolves, the technologies to break it also evolve and get more sophisticated.
And for the moment, am I okay?
I would say that you're okay. I would say you might want to think about not, whether the long-term use of it puts you at a higher risk than the benefit that you're getting. You might have a curiosity as a journalist and want to kind of see how this works. But I think beyond that, if there's no benefit to you, I would say take it out.
Even though there are a lot of lingering questions about this technology, I decided to keep the chip anyway. So, for full disclosure, I actually got microchipped. It's in my hand right here. I don't know if you guys want to touch it.
Oh my god. Why would you do that?
Truth is, the potential of this technology is vast. It's being tested for security checkpoints and military bases. Doctors are using it to better track patient health data. In Sweden, chipped residents are using it to pay for things, like their train commute. And it could even help make the smart guns we've seen in movies like Skyfall a reality.
Encoded to your palm print so only you can fire it.
On the regulation side of things, what would you say to lawmakers about the benefits of biohacking and potential risks? Like, what would you say a lawmaker who's just finding out about biohacking and people implanting different things?
Hey, you know what? I'm really tired of looking at the rest of this. Let's get to some scriptures.
It's